Good morning. Thank you for joining me today for Monday morning devotion. We've been studying about the fruit of the Spirit in a ladies' Bible study that I teach. We've been using the book by Elizabeth George called A Woman's Walk with God, Growing in the Fruit of the Spirit. And this past week we studied about gentleness. And I think for the most part, a lot of us thought this is going to be simple. We're a pretty gentle person. But in studying, we all realized that we really need the Lord's help with this one. The definition of gentle is to be gentle or meek, to be lowly or humble, a form of self-control which only Christ can give. Gentleness manifests itself in a submissive spirit toward both God and man. It's the opposite of self-reliant arrogance. And this fruit of the Spirit, like the others, is grown in a hothouse. There is a high price to pay to cultivate its bloom. As we read further, we found out that a person who is meek is not resentful, doesn't hold grudges, doesn't mull over injuries forever and ever, finds refuge in the Lord, and commits his way entirely to Him. We also learned that meekness is not weakness. There's no way that there's any weakness involved here. It takes a lot of strength to be meek in the face of adversity. Meekness is submissiveness under provocation, just someone deliberately trying to provoke you to anger. It takes a lot of control, a lot of meekness. And so as we studied that, we realized that there's a lot to this, more than we thought. One of the examples that Elizabeth gives in this book is about taming a horse. And so I had someone come to our study and talk to us about their horse and how they are taming her. And they said it's a long, very patient process. You just don't jump on the back of a horse and ride off into the sunset. They literally just laid a rope on the back of the horse and just kept doing that over and over again until the horse let them leave the rope on the back. There's a lot to it. I won't go into all of it, but it's called gentling of the horse and making the horse useful for its master and for the intended purpose of the horse. And that's a picture of us and God, and just how over time He's very patient with us and makes us, as we walk and get closer to Him and grow in the fruit of the Spirit, we become more useful and more of a testimony of His grace and Spirit in our life, that He is alive and living and does make a change in people's lives in the way they respond. Another example that she gave, which I just loved, was about the gentleness means bowing of the soul. And it's in the Old Testament word Anah, A-N-A-H, means gentleness. And it's a picture of wheat growing up out of the ground. And when it first grows up, it's standing straight and tall. But as it begins to mature and bear fruit, it bows down. And the more fruit that it produces, the more it bends lower and lower. And I couldn't help but think about John the Baptist when he said, He, meaning Jesus, must increase, but I must decrease. He must become greater. I must become less. The more the gentleness of the Holy Spirit is growing and active in our life, there's less bragging about ourselves and less trying to defend ourselves and less trying to get our own way, and more about bragging about God and pointing others to Jesus and letting other people see God at work in us, because there's no way that we could respond the way we do without Him actively involved in our lives. And of course, this just means being able to trust in a God that we say we love, that we serve, trusting in His sovereignty, that He's got this, that He's our defender, that He will help us respond, to do the right thing, whether maybe it is put a boundary up in our life, maybe it is to walk away, maybe it is to say with a smile on our face what we need to say, but giving ourselves to the Lord and trusting in Him will help us to produce the fruit of the Spirit, gentleness. Be sure to go to your needs your knees and bring each situation to him and let him know, God, this is what I'm going through. I need your help to know how to respond in a gentle manner. Have a blessed week, everyone. I look forward to seeing you next Monday.